All right, this match review comes from Sutart, which is a homie that hangs out in the stream all the time, so we appreciate you bunches. You do not list your hours, so I don't really know how much experience you have in the game and what your experience level and what my expectations of you should be. So in the future, make sure you guys are putting your hours when you put in the submissions. That way I can know like what generally to expect from you. You're on Gardajoy, which is one of the worst killer maps in the game, if not outright the worst killer map in the game. So that's not good. That's not good for you at all. Yeah, first mistake was not DCing Gardajoy, because this map is pain. You are playing Singularity, which in the right hands is one of the better characters in the game. I would say Singularity can get like high B, low A in the right hands. But a very, very like kind of like demanding character to play, so keep that in mind. So take a look at your perks, your add-ons, which I'll probably have to look up. Not gonna hold you. I know glove and the purple are good. I have no idea what these are. Let me see what they are real quick. Well, these are really bad. Oh no. Okay, so looking at your add-ons, you have Cryogel, which increases the spreading rate of Slipstream by 25%. This is an add-on that is not too great. I mean, it's kind of better in general that survivors aren't grouped up anyway, so this is kind of an add-on that punishes survivors for a playstyle they shouldn't even be doing. And I don't know. It's just, you would get a lot more value of just like having good camera placement and gooping them yourselves than like trying to run in a whole add-on slot just to like do spread goop and stuff like that. Your other one is also pretty bad, the spent oxygen tank, because this is the one that is if you've gooped them, they're exhausted for 6 seconds, but often a lot they will be able to recover from those 6 seconds before you're able to actually teleport to them, which just effectively makes it kind of like a useless add-on. If you're looking at like better add-on choices, Kid's Ball Glove, which increases your overclock mode, the Plant Fibers, which you know, it reduces the duration of your movement speed penalty when you're hit with a pallet. So those are some better add-on choices. But yeah, those are unfortunately kind of not it. Your build is really strong. You have triple slowdown into the best not slowdown perk in the game. Once again, I'll say this again, I typically don't accept submissions where people run like triple slowdown, because I feel like it's just kind of like training wheels, and even if you end up winning, like it's because of your build and not you. So like, I mean, just in general as a practice, if you're trying to get better at the game and be more consistent, running 3 slowdown kind of like covers for your mistakes. And you know, if you're trying to get better, you should be letting your mistakes be felt, so you can, you know, actually improve. But in general, yeah, it's a very, very strong build, very, very good build. I will say that one thing I am noticing, especially if you're newer to the game or not as consistent with the game yet, is that there's no info on this build, so you better have pretty good macro sense, because if you don't have pretty good macro sense, this build's not going to be able to help you. So yeah, let's go ahead and watch the match. Hawks is so loud. You should... What is happening? There you go. I don't know why you replaced that one 3 times just to put it in the same place, but okay. Putting your cameras high up is really smart. Gives you better vantage points. There's person to... There was a person to your right. Why did you not chase them? Did you not see all the scratch marks on the wall? Why did you not... Yeah, there's a bunch of people over here. That's just you being on controller. That sucks. I can tell that's just the controller movement screwing you over. Feels bad, man. Yeah, you can be really, really snappy. Yeah, or you're right. It's like, you can, like it's kind of like, you're kind of a trap killer, but also not at the same time. You're kind of like a hybrid, which is, he's a very complicated character to like get the most out of, which is why like I say like, hey, he can be really good, but most Singularities aren't, because like it is complicated to get the most out of him. You're kind of a trap killer, but also not. So I would do a little bit of setup, but don't get too overcommitted to setting up pods everywhere. Kind of like demo. I think it's kind of like demo, right? Like I'll set up my portals at the beginning of the match, but for the rest of the match, I'll set up my portals as it's convenient and not focus on, or hyper focus on setting up a network, because that'll lose me time, and match time is gen time. So at the beginning of the match's demo, yeah, I'll set a portal or 2 or 3 down if I have the time to. But then for the rest of the match, I kind of just put it as it's convenient instead of focusing on it. So it's kind of, I feel like it's kind of a similar situation. Don't need to learn from a mistake? Exactly. Literally exactly, Halsey. Literally. If you have too much slowdown, it removes your need to learn from a mistake. I'll say triple strike. You're doing well today. Yeah, because at this point you've seen multiple survivors and you haven't chased them because you're so obsessed with putting up your network of cameras that you're not actually, like, chasing people. There's no better pressure than having quick and efficient chases in Dead by Daylight. And you're not a character like Trapper or like Hag, where like if you don't set up your... Why are you doing that? Why are you, like, destroying half of your pods? You do know he's one of those characters like Freddy, where, like, once all your pods are up, it just refreshes, right? You don't have to constantly destroy your own pods to keep them. You can just leave them up. I don't know why you're doing that. I would stop doing that. Okay, finally, after 4 minutes into the game... Well, when did the match start? After like 2 minutes, you're finally starting your first chase. Yeah, you should really only be removing them if, like, you know, they get EMP'd. Or you just, like, misplaced it. You should... See, in this chase right here, as we were talking about being snappy earlier, is like the way you would like make this chase super quick and efficient is you place a pod like right now, like in the middle of this chase, just shoot a pod up real quick, very, very quickly goop her, then go right back to chasing her in your overclock mode. Luckily, she screws up and gets stuck. But like that, when we talk about like being snappy, that's what we're talking about. Like mill that chase. Put an orb mid chase. Goop them. Then teleport to them. Overclock mode. Like, I haven't seen you do that yet. You're also opting to not go for a pain res hook. You could have definitely made this one over here. That is questionable. Well, he's running right into you. Level's mediocre. I've heard different things about that triple strike. I've seen some Singularity mains like just a Biffle and Rapid on him, and others don't. You have multiple people here. You are trying to be snappy. You are trying to. Okay, I would just teleport to him. he's gonna run into you. I think that's one of those things, Triple, that I never know how I feel about it. I know I always, like, don't like doubling up on something my base kit can do, but on certain characters, people seem to like doubling up on, like, their base kit. Like, I know a lot of, like, slingers and pyramid heads will, like, you know, for example, enjoy running Brutal Strength because people like to pre-drop against them, even though they have such good anti-pallet utility. Whereas, like, some people are like, no, I just have an anti-pallet in my base kit. Why would I ever run extra anti-pallet, you know? Bamboozle? Yeah, I see a lot of slingers run Bam. Pocket is raiding me. Ooh. Nice goop. I love when people do that, where they like, they'll be in here at the start of stream, have a whole stream, come back with a raid. It's like, hi, welcome back. Beginning and ending your day with me. That's a very good orb. I like that one. Like the one up on this side of the house. Very funny. You're also never really using your overclock mode. I've noticed. Oh. You should know she wasn't vaulting because she has an IM in her hands. Unless the item disappears out of their hands, like they're not actually taking the vault. So that's what you should, that's how you should have known that she wasn't vaulting, because she still has the flashlight in her hand. What else do people expect of me? Well, hopefully it was still nice either way. Oh, that's so sad. Yeah, the tree's blocking you. Maybe you put that a little lower, so that like the leaves aren't in the way. Why did we give him crap for having a printer sound effect for his chase music? Anytime there's any printer sound, like printer sounding like chase music, we're on it in a moment. Why are we not using our skirt hooks? Do you just forget that you have this perk? You can definitely have made that, like there's a skirt hook right here. Why bring pain res if you're not going to use it? Best slowdown in the game, you're not getting value. Hey, fire. Good to see you. Do you get an install? How does it feel to have started a civil war in my chat one day? How does it feel to be that divisive? Play on console is cool. Yeah, you get, there is. That's why I haven't been giving them too much like trouble or like crap for like missing a lot of their like in chase like orb. I don't know what else. Goop attacks, the biopod attacks, because it's like console. That's a little hard. Thank you, Karma. I appreciate that. Thank you for the water. There you go. Got up early, went to bed so early. Don't worry, you'll be back to me and Gremlin soon. Oh, that's so sad. Good awareness, good macro awareness. That's really good. What you did there was good macro awareness. To check the gen, push the person off the gen. It's good macro. A lot of people wouldn't have thought to do that. Yeah, you really need to be... I know you're on console, but you really need to be, like, overclocking, getting into your overclock mode in chase and being snappy with your shots. I know you're on console, so on controller it's a little way more difficult, but, like, that is, like, regardless a problem. No excuse for the console. There's a video going up Wednesday or Thursday, a match review of a Xenomorph player, Justice. I think it was Justice who it was. Literally hitting like the coolest tail shots on console. Homie was giving me hope. I was like, wow. So I can stay up a bit later? That's cozy. Did I do anything special? Gonna hang out with any friendos? Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, you could say until like, you know, you're blue in the face, it's like, oh, well, they're on console, so it's okay. But like, at a certain point, it is just holding you back, so. Yeah, you need to put those not up in the leaf part of the tree. You put it on the trunk. She was right there. She was in that tile. You just didn't see her. I would say like M1 killers, it's not really a problem, right? But like certain like projectile killers and stuff like that, yeah. Yeah. I think it really depends. They don't have cross progression? Yeah, which sucks. Yeah, unfortunately that's... Ugh. Nice. Yeah, unfortunately, it's kind of like too far gone. The other people are definitely in the background doing the gen. Yeah, she's like, hey, this one's broken, so it's fine. Like, no.
Integrity, 43%.
What's he even mean by that? Magheads are only gene integrity 43%. What does that mean? Can you elaborate?
Prepare to become something better.
I love they talk so much crap. Very cute. I like the idea to stay on them here. Ooh. That was good. I like that. Or we can force them off the gen. Because the survivors do get a notification when you're like locked onto them, or locking onto them. So by keeping the lock on them, you're like, hey, I'm coming, which, you know, scared them off the gen, which is a good play. Wink. Him as much when I was on controller, yeah. He, like, any sort of projectile killer is pretty rough on controller. Although even though his projectiles aren't like projectiles in the contemporary sense where you throw it and it does damage, it still is a projectile that, you know, you need to hit in order to do. Are you resetting that? Oh, did you think it? You just checked that. Never mind. Hold on. Never mind. Much closer game, yeah. You almost didn't get that. There's just going to be a menace. I really hope they adjust this main event before it hits live. This main event thing. That's going to be so irritating. That's going to be not fun to face at all. Yeah, I agree, Handsome. I agree. The no recoil. Tricksters never needed recoil. I don't know why that was ever a mechanic, but like everything else about that change, like, it's gonna be obnoxious. Okay, so you have somebody dead, which is good, but you're also starting a chase with your obsession, which you have saved the best for last, so you're gonna be losing save stacks, and you haven't hooked this person once. I don't know if the game plan is to get your final pain risk to try and stop the final gen, but like, you've kind of shown, and I don't mean this in any insulting way, is that like your chases are pretty long. So the only way this would have been a good play is if like you were able to end this chase fairly quickly, but I don't have high confidence that that's going to happen. So this is just kind of starting a fresh chase with somebody who you have never hooked so far at the end of a game when you need to be like getting people dead as quick as possible. Yeah, especially in Garner Joy when they have so many resources. And she has a wand in her hand, so she's just gonna immediately undo that. Oh, he was just late. You were just late with that. Usually I would yell at you for dry kicking there, but that you were in overclock mode and that gen's almost done, so like she didn't even go in there. Yeah, she didn't even vault that. Yeah, she didn't even vault that, so you just slowed yourself down by vaulting that. You know they want this Shen. I would not start worrying about the other ones right now. Yeah, I would replace that. Yeah. Even in these other gens that you're worrying about, they have no progress. That is minimum 90 seconds, you know, outliers of perks and stuff. Like outliers with perks and stuff, like these gens max take, or not max, but on average take like 90 seconds to get done here. You don't need to worry about these right now. You need to be worrying about the gen that's nearly done right in front of you. Do not worry about them. See, his tech, that would be a big risk. I don't know if I would agree with doing that. Like, if they haven't fallen for the fallen for it in the amount of times that he has already done it, I don't think it's gonna matter now. Yeah, I'll definitely check that. Yeah, they yeah, because they had a wand. If you notice, they're healing through your sloppy. Yep. You've noticed that they've done that multiple times too, where they're just going to wand your orbs away, your biopods. So I would have placed that somewhere different. That way they can't get rid of it just with a single orb shot. Ooh, that was a good one. There you go. If you had done that more often throughout the match, this would have been way less close. That was smart to check that. Unfortunate. Now she's gonna take you to Shack too. I mean, either way, even if she doesn't go to Shack, that sucks. That sucks. You're kind of in a... The reason you're in that situation is, like, not particularly all your fault, but you did have a situation where, like, you couldn't defend all those gens at once. When you're in that situation where if you teleport that close, you're just gonna end up on the same side of the window like you have. That's not actually like worth it to teleport there, because you're just gonna get stuck behind the window. Now, if that was a window that would have vault that wasn't a drop, like, you could be patient and wait and then, like, teleport over the window by giving it a little distance. But since it's a drop off, you can't do that. This map sucks. They've arguably made it worse in the they've arguably made it worse in the you should just hit him. You're not gonna be able to shove past him. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to shove past him. Yeah, that's not gonna, yeah. You should have just, like, hit and hoped he messed up there. Okay, let's take a look at their builds. There's some good stuff, but most of it's pretty standard. It wasn't the builds that caused the loss for sure. That was not what happened. Yeah, the builds are not what caused the loss here. Okay, here's the deal. Here's the deal. So, talking about your main takeaways. I get that you're on console. So that makes using your biopods mid-chase and being snappy with them, like, way harder. But that is something that you gotta do with this character. And that's more in your hands, right? Like, are you going to deal with it and try to improve and, you know, kind of like try to circumvent the limitations of playing on controller with a character that doesn't play nice with, you know, controller controls? Or, you know, are you going to drop and play a different character? I don't know which way you go with that, but the reason, like, the whole thing about Singularity is that they're a setup killer, but their whole thing is, like, they can circumvent chases really, really quickly with their biopods. And you had one half of it pretty down pat, which was, like, setting up the orbs or the biopods in good spots and being able to teleport through them through the cameras. But you were kind of missing the other half of your base kit for the most part, which was, like, very quickly goop them and very quickly teleport on them in the chase super quickly. And match time is gen time. Even with 3 slowdown, you weren't able to make that work. So you really, really needed that other half of his base kit, which was the chase circumvention. Like I said, that's up to you. Do you want to fight through the fact that, you know, this character is harder on controller? Or do you not want to deal with that and potentially may drop the character? That's up to you. That's up to you. That's in your hands. That's your decision. That is up to what you're willing to deal with and the amount of patience you're willing to have. So, like, Yeah, but like not being able to end your chases quickly by basically only using half your power, that was a problem. That was a problem. Second, and this is actually the more common takeaway than like I usually I have had. Like it's something I wouldn't think I'd have to tell people, but it's showed up in like more than one match review at this point. Is that like why did people bring pain res and then don't carry people to scourge hooks? There are multiple scenarios, like a handful of scenarios this match where you could have carried them a little bit further and put them on a scourge hook, but you didn't. You could have stopped a lot of the gens in the early and mid game from popping if you would just like used your scourge hooks, you used your pain res early, but you didn't. You would forego putting them on a pain res hook just to, I don't know why. Like, did you just not have the confidence you would hit those like hooks? You have, when you're carrying a survivor, if you didn't know this, if you're carrying a survivor, the survivor will grunt 10 times. They'll go, you know, you'll carry them, they go, you know, like they do those little noises. You have 10 of those before they drop. Besides Xenomorph. Xenomorph is the one exception to this. They have 6.5 because their grunts are delayed while being carried by the Xenomorph for some reason. I don't know why. But for every other character, it's 10 grunts until they drop. You definitely had enough distance to carry them to get them to the pain res hooks. So either have the confidence and understanding that I have 10 of those before I end up having to drop them. I can definitely make those pain res hooks, or just stop bringing the pain res. So yeah. Also, as you in terms of like the other half of your base kit, in terms of saying your cameras, your biopods were pretty good. But like you were finding out a lot of like it was also kind of awkward. It's like it took you a while to get used to it. So like you kept like placing and destroying your biopods right away, which is fine to some extent because if you don't plan to use them, it's like whatever. But like also you're also one of those characters like Freddy where like once you run out of biopods, they just refresh. Like it just takes the last one. So you don't necessarily have to do that, and I wouldn't do it as much as you did it, because that's also a time waster. And also be careful about foliage when it comes to placing your biopods, because anything that blocks your line of sight when you're trying to, you know, track somebody to goop them will block it. And you ran into that a lot this match. I'm going to save you a lot of time if you place them not up in those trees and the leaves and stuff. So it is generally a good idea to put them high up, but you also want to make sure that you're avoiding the the foliage as well.